Hello and welcome to Life is Feudal, Forest Village. Picking up from the last episode, I've been doing quite a bit of work off camera. It's mainly just been doing some actual terraforming down here. We're about halfway through this section because the idea is I need more orchards for these bakers. I need a bigger coop for these bakers. I mean, these bakers do fruit pies, these bakers do vegetable pies, so they need more resources, and that means clearing out land. The trouble is it takes so long because I don't have that many spare people to do the work. It takes them forever because they've got to keep going out over there and back to there. They get to about this far, then all of a sudden they decide, oh, I need to work over here. So the goal it just takes forever. So what I want to do is I want to do version 2 of the village, if you will, now that I've learned about how things fit together, and start working my way south. Yeah, start working my way south with village version 2. But that needs more work to clear this place out, a wall, a ramp. There's lots of things to do. But in the meantime, what I'm going to focus on in this episode is, well, we've got all these farmers and these gardeners who they pretty much do nothing during the winter. So I started building fishermen's lodges. So the trouble is I just don't have enough places for them, and you do have to leave quite a gap, otherwise they just don't get enough fish. And what I'm thinking of doing now is doing a bit of terraforming along here and building more fish farms down here, and then I'll use those during the winter instead. So that's something I want to do, and I'll get started with that in a moment. But I also need more people, so we're going to unpause this house. I think we're doing okay with the food, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, we've got plenty of reserves, and I think, I mean, if it does go kind of pear-shaped, I do have a couple of fields that I can, quickly put people into to get more vegetables. But I think the first thing I really want to do is start with a bit of terraforming. So I'm just going to pick that point over there as the height point. And I'm going to start about here, just so I can get a rough idea as to how far out I can go, because I want a kind of an embankment, and the idea is I'll then build the fish farms off there, because they need a... oh nope, we went too far. I want I want somewhere for them to be able to place the actual fishing lodges. I just don't know how far out it needs to be, so I'll do a bit there. I mean, hopefully I won't be bringing up too much ground over there. See if I can finish that bit off out of curiosity. So I'll pause that one off and get them to focus. So that's not too much, so we'll get them to focus on that one. So we'll start that, and we'll see what they can get done. So right, so we should see more people coming into the population. Now another thing I want to do is I want to make this whole little industry here a lot more efficient, because at the moment these kilners are relying on the sawmills up here to make the wood that they turn into charcoal. So I mean, I was thinking of bringing the sawmills down to here, moving the kilners over there, moving the furnace and the blacksmith over there, but I think what I'm going to do is bring them all up to here. Now the reason for that is, if we look at the hunting cabin, the original reason I built this area was I wanted some hunters, I wanted some gatherers, I wanted somebody to go out and chop the trees, plant new trees. They were all nice little self-contained unit, if you will. But the trouble is you don't get that many animals coming into the area. I mean, the hunters, I don't think they're doing as well as they used to, and I think it's probably because we've taken up so much of the area with buildings, and this is probably all spooking the animals, let alone given there's not enough room for them. So I think what I might do is, I mean, rather than moving a lot of things out and down here, I think I'll just move the actual hunting cabins further out, so they're in a more secluded place. That way, there's less things going to disturb them. So I'll just leave them out there with a shack or something, Oh, hold on. Looks like our terraforming's done. Right, okay. So there's our terraforming. Let's see out of curiosity if they can then build a fish farm. So the fish farm would line up to there. So I'll keep it nicely lined up and see if they can supply that. So the plan is to just keep extending that out in that direction. I'll then have another 7 of these fishing lodges, fish farms. This fishing lodge will have to go, so that takes like 3 of the places away. I need another 7 places, but that would have been ideally that lot there. That would have catered for all 7, but of course I'll be taking this fisherman's lodge away, which means I've then got to supply another 3 places. So I'm going to then have to build another like embankment back down there, and then build some more fish farms down there. Now, wouldn't they have started that fire? I'd love to know what starts fires. It's strange. I mean, most of the time fires gets. I mean, the actual building's paused. There's nobody even in. I mean, usually what happens is it's like you get like the big thunderstorms come along. You know, you get a lightning strike. Ooh, Struth! That just ripped the place to bits. That's me. Oh, that's class. You go for it. Go away. You know, shoo. Yeah, like you could like you know say shoot to a cyclone. Actually, it's a tornado. It's technically they're different. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna keep expanding this place out. I mean, they don't take that much. I've got plenty of stuff because I mean, I've actually paused the stone quarry because I'm running out of room. This warehouse here is just getting chock a block with wood and stone. So I've actually got another warehouse going down here somewhere. Yeah, I need another warehouse getting built over there. I've also got, there's a sawmill down here. Well, I think they've finished it now. That's good, because that was originally just a lumberjack, so I had it upgraded to a sawmill. But it's things like this, you see, there's not that much coverage for like wildlife, so I think it impacts the hunters. So again, I think what I'll do is I'll just get that hunter and move them further out into like a secluded area. Just give them a shack, their own shack to live in. That's it. But I'm just going to pause the video there, I think, because it might be a while before they get round to building this. Because obviously there's other places to build. So I'll bring you back once this is all ready. Well, it looks like that was a good idea at the time, but I haven't factored in just how far back these things actually go. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get this this fish farm here cancelled. I'm going to widen this out even further because I've tried actually like flattening the slope here, for instance. It doesn't like it. Let's see if I can find it. There's this one here which is flatten the ground. So I want to drop that. I want it to be lower so it's nice and straight, but as soon as I do that it just says there's no passage to the building, so that's no good to me, to be honest. So what I'm going to have to do is I need to make this wider. I should have made it wide enough to put a path through and then put the actual fish farm in. So I'm just going to get some more terraforming done, then once they've finished this bit, actually just finished it now, I'll get all this terraforming redone, make it wide enough to fit the path in, make it nice and straight, nice and smooth instead of these jagged edges, because it's quite difficult. I'm finding it quite difficult to see, you know, the grid marks. But I'll get that done. Let's see. So flatten at height. So I'll bring it out to give myself plenty of room. This time, I think that'll make a lot more sense. I mean, it doesn't have to be. Oh, it's true. I'm gonna have to do this in like smaller chunks, I think, because otherwise that's a trouble if you just make one mistake. You've got to go back and do it all over again. And it is quite fiddly, I find. Alright, I'm not going to chance it. I'll leave it there. Right, so I'll get them to finish that off. And I'll bring you back when we're ready to test it again. Okay, so I finally managed to get all this section done. And Murphy's Law, the winter's come. I mean, I managed to get an actual pathway down there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chance it and just going to line that up and see how far out I can push it. So it's got to be there. And then we'll see if we can get them to build that. Now the temperature's still at 0, so the crops haven't. Oh yeah, the crops gone yet? Still got quite a few crops. I mean, as I say, we're doing quite good actually for food. I mean, we've now got, you know, the population. Oh wow, we've gone above 101. Hey, we've actually managed to get 100 people, and I didn't even notice. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised the crops. Right, the crops have all gone. So I'm just gonna get all of these people out. As I say, there's just not enough places at the moment. So hopefully they can get this fish farm sorted out pretty quickly. I mean, I'll have to wait till spring because, I mean, I actually ran the roads down there and there was still quite a bit of a gap. So I was doing okay actually. I mean, you know, even if the road got destroyed and I had to rebuild it, I still could have run it all the way right up there. So I mean, it might have been a bit too. I might have gone a bit too wide, I think, but I mean, it'll do. So I'm just going to wait for this fish farm to get built. Assuming it all goes to plan, then I'll build another 6 in this direction. But I'll have a better idea of the spacing once we get to the spring, so I'll bring you back shortly. Well, we're well into spring and it's only just now hit 0, so I just need for this to thaw out a bit so we can see the road. But it was interesting because when we hit the fall, it was early fall when the frost came and killed off all the plants. And then actually in late fall, all of a sudden the temperature popped back up, but by that time it was too late. So I don't think we'll have done too well on the crops that year. But we'll just see how this goes. So that's starting to thaw out. So I'm just going to pull people out here. So that drops us to about yeah, it's 7 that I need in total. Take everybody out of this fishing lodge here. We want 4 people in there. We want 18 people back in the fields, so we're back to 2 because we had a couple of people die off of old age and I've been putting more people into the mines. So we've dipped back below 100. But I may as well get rid of this place now because we've now got 3 lodges. Not lodges. I keep calling these lodges. They're fish farms. These are the lodges. But these 3 will replace that 1, and then we'll just wait for these 4 to be built. Now, I had a quick check. These are 5 wide. This little embankment that I built, so you can see where the road goes. And we do want a road in there. So you see, I mean, I could have run the road that way, so I could have probably gotten away with just like, you know, 4 wide maybe. But we'll run this. Oops. Keep running the road. What I should have done really, to be more efficient, I should have had sort of a gap in the middle where they all could have brought their, you know, their fish to a barn or something, because that means at the moment all these people are going to have to run in this direction and all the way back round. So it's not that as efficient as it could be. I think I'm really tempted to sort of like build a port. Maybe I should build a port over there. Then what I could do is get rid of this one and this one, and then just have a sort of like another embankment down here, so that gives them all a clear path down there to walk. I think that might actually be a lot better, to be honest. I mean, what does it take to build a port? If I can remember, there, that's the port there. So oh no, hay. Oh, that's going to be bad. We don't have enough hay. We're running out of hay. Ooh, Struth, that's going to be bad. Glad I spotted that. So, tell you what, I've got quite a bit of wool, so I'll sell that off for here. So let's see what we can get for that. Oop, bit overkill. Oh yeah, we don't need that much. Yeah, that'll keep us going for quite a while. About 100. I'll go for about 200. Yeah, 200 seems a reasonable amount. Now what I'll need to do is I'll need to get a trade route in to move the hay from there to, I think hay goes in a, actually where does hay go? Does it go in the barn? Does it go in the warehouse? Where do we keep the hay these days? I'm pretty sure it goes in a barn. Because I really don't have, oh hang on a minute, I've suddenly got 800, oh yeah, that's because I just bought it. Duh. Right, so I'll tell you what. Presumably it's clever enough to sort of like say you can't do that if I pick the wrong building. So they need hay, so tell them to put it. Ah, so it does go in the warehouse, so there you go. Okay, so they'll, I mean at the moment I've just got them transporting things like the hide from where the hunting cabins are. Let's see, so see if there's anything else I need to pause off. That's okay, so I'll leave them to get on with that. But yeah, I'm quite tempted to rebuild this port out of the way. Probably over here, I think. Wonder if I can run a road down there. Yeah, if I run a road down there, then I can have the port down there. And then I could move the fisherman's lodge a bit further away. But that wasn't too bad. I mean, it's just a case now of waiting for all these to be built. Actually, I may as well open that back up now that it's springtime. But we'll wait for all these to be built, then I'll build another embankment along here. But I'm definitely going to take these ones out, because I think that'll be a bit more efficient, especially if I can get a barn right in the middle. So I'll bring you back shortly. Well, I've been doing a lot of terraforming now. We've got 2 rows of fish farms, and we've got a new little pathway here, so we're ready to start building some more fish farms here. I've also extended the land out here with some terraforming. I originally brought it out here, but the port I found, it only wants a small amount actually touching the land. So I mean, I started out with the you know, the flat, the height tool, brought it right the way out here. But once I found out it's a bit fussy on how much land you can actually have the thing touch, I then started using the, you know, the razor, the lower the ground, and I had to basically just cut back a bit. So I mean, we're not doing too bad for hay now. I mean, I haven't been buying any more, but I don't know what it is, because there's actually 2 farms that we've got. We've got one there, and we've got one there. I mean, we're into fall now, but yeah, I think we might just be scraping, you know, by getting enough hay. That's something I'm gonna have to bear in mind, because this doesn't need too much, but it needs a bit. So I'm gonna plonk that down there. So they'll go and gather all the materials for that. I mean, we've got enough in stock, so it should be fine. Now, none of these fish farms, as that I know of, actually need any straw. Wood's okay. I think we'll be fine with that as well. So that lines up there. So I mean, how far back can I put that? So I'll line it up with there. Oop, slightly moved a bit too much there. There, so we plunk that one down there. I mean, I was saying before, I mean, I did that was about 5 wide, that pathway. And now that it's being terraformed, because they'll come in, they'll do a bit of cultivating around that area. And that's actually just the ideal width that I've found, because then the path actually ends up, you know, going right down the middle. So that's good, that. So we'll leave them to get on with that. I'm just going to keep extending out. I think I'll extend out all 7 because I forgot the gatherers. They get up to nothing during the winter as well, so I might want to be able to make use of those during the winter as well. So we'll just leave these folks to build our port. And what I'm going to do, I mean, this fish farm is now overlapping. It's not a fish farm, a fisherman's lodge. So we'll just flip that one round. So I put this one about here. I mean, it's a good way off the, you know, off the actual off the port there. So if we build that one there, and then once that one's finished, then I'll remove this one. So I quite like that there because it's, you know, it leaves a good gap there. That one's just about touching, so I'll just leave that one there as well. But what I'm going to do is once that port, I mean, technically I don't really need the port for any more expeditions right now, but once this, I'm just going to wait until this port's built. We'll get this port deconstructed, and then I'll put some, I'll extend these out a bit further. My only concern is that little lip there, but we'll have to wait and see, because at the point where all the crops go, I want to extend these little areas out just a bit so I can put in one more fish farm down on each side. I was saying I was going to take, I think, that one away, but it's actually that one. I mean, 6 and 2 3s, but it's just because the road comes down there, so I want to see if I can get the road to run all the way down in a straight line, and then I can put some barns down here for the fishermen on either side to come and bring their fish to. But oh, we'll see. So I'm just going to keep on extending out this this lodge, get our port built, and then we'll get this one decommissioned. So I'll bring you back shortly. I'm not quite sure what happened, but when I built this fish farm to begin with, all of the resources got brought, and then I think when it was just about to get to the building stage, it suddenly kind of just locked up. You get this like little warning icon, because I think they were saying it was like inaccessible or something. So what I've done is I've basically I destroyed the building, I tore it down, and I've had to cut out a bigger gap on the left hand side. That seems to have worked this time. I don't know why, because I did check the next time when the builder came. They cut quite a bit of the ground away on this side, and they also did a bit of terraforming on this side as well. So I'm a bit puzzled over that. But for whatever reason, you've got to make sure there's a good enough gap on the left hand side, it seems. Otherwise, you could end up with this, you know, being sort of like, I wouldn't call it like quite landlocked as such, but you just can't get in. It seems the builders, they just don't seem to have any room to be able to get in and then build it. But I've been clearing a bit of space on this side because there was some jaggedy bits over here and here. So the next thing to do is to put in a bit of terraforming just to widen these out. And then that way I'll be able to fit an extra fish farm on this side. Then we'll take this sort of like set out here, these two here. But I'd rather wait until I've got like too many, if you will, rather than like take these away while I'm still waiting for these to be built. We've now got our port built over here, and I actually ended up moving this fisherman's lodge just slightly further down because I forgot there's also one up here. I think I put it up here to begin with, so the two of them were overlapping a bit. So now that's a bit better. It's you don't get that problem of the overlap. I mean, this one kind of touches there, but I think it's fine. So I'm just going to crack on and get the rest of these finished, and I mean, we're getting plenty of fish. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Is, you know, you've got all these fishermen and well, not so much fishermen. You've got all the farmers, the gardeners, and also your gatherers, just basically standing around doing nothing during the winter. So by having things like this, it's ideal because you end up with tons and tons of fish, which is much better. Because I added an extra 6 people to the population, now to 103 of our potential 104, and yet the food's doing perfectly fine. I mean, at some point I topped about like 29,000, so we're doing really well. The only thing I'm concerned though is the actual, amount of hay that we're using as well. So that's something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. But anyway, I'll get all this lot finished off, and then I'll bring you back once we're done. Well, I've let the game run on just a little bit longer, just so I could keep an eye on the food production, but also so I could get this little bit of area here terraformed. Now, that's now done, but I've got to say I'm quite surprised at how much extra food we're now actually making, just by introducing this, what I would say is a small change really. I mean, all we've done is introduced some extra fish farms. I mean, I've taken away one fish lodge, but there was enough fishing places to cover all of the gardeners, all of the gatherers, and all of the farmers during the winter. So basically, they, instead of just standing around doing nothing over winter, they actually do fishing, and then they go back to their original job during the spring. But yeah, I mean, I am impressed, because I mean, we're into fall of 97. I mean, any time that that temperature is suddenly going to drop, and then all of a sudden people are just going to pile into these fishing jobs. But I mean, at the start of this year there was 4,200 fish in stock, so we haven't actually lost that much over the period of the year. But the good thing about it is that they managed to go out and gather so many fish during the winter that we've ended up with this big massive surplus. People have been eating more fish, less vegetables, so we now actually got 30,000 vegetables, which gives us about 34,000 food in total. I mean, I actually had to increase the limit. It was originally capped at 30,000, and now we're up to 40,000. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a small change to me. I mean, especially because the winter doesn't last long, but they're producing so much fish that it's had a big difference, I'd say. But yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm just kind of like kicking myself, thinking, why didn't I do it sooner? But I mean, while I've been watching all this, it kind of got me thinking of like ways to improve it a bit more. So I mean, I've put the some extra wells down, because if one of these buildings catches fire, the people have to get to a well to go and draw water so that they can put the fire out. And I mean, it's got nothing to do with the actual job itself, but it does mean there's less likelihood of one of these buildings getting destroyed now. But I've also built these 2 barns, because like somebody down here, for instance, they'll have been walking all the way along here, then all the way up there to that barn. So now they only have to go as far as this one. And then that got me thinking, actually, well, why not just terraform it down here? Put a couple of barns down on this side, or rather 3 for each of the rows. And then these 2 columns of fish farms, they don't have as far to go either. Which then I thought, well, actually, when I could do the same on the left side, because then it'll improve the efficiency of these 3 fish farms. Because I mean, the plan is basically I want to move the miller here up to here, and these bakeries, both of them are now operational. I want to move them over here so they're closer to where the barn is that holds the flour, because they need to walk. If they can go, less distance to deposit the flour, and they can walk to a much shorter distance to go and collect their flour, it should make both of them more efficient, which should then give us more fish pies as well. So that's something I want to do later down the line, possibly the next video as well, actually. It frees up some room over here, meaning I can build a size 10 house here, upgrade it to a 12. That covers all of these fish farms here, because these work right throughout the year. It covers the four bakers here as well, so they'll be working and living close by. So it means that they won't have to travel so far. So again, I should start to see more fish pies and more fish as well because of that. I can then decommission this house and then put the extra barns down there. So yeah, it's always possible to improve things. But one thing I have had to do is, I mean, the hay was going down. So what I've done is I've introduced an extra farmer. I've now got this field's been brought back online. and they're producing. I've got like 2 farmers working here, one up here. That one down there has been paused, but it means that I've now actually got 1 extra farmer than I had before, so I can't cover all of the farming positions. But I mean, that's no big deal. I can keep adding more of these fish farms as we go along, and I am going to need more, because I need more of these orchards for, you know, producing more fruit. So as we go along, I can just keep adding more fish farms down here probably, and then it's a case of, great, I think I might have to be a bit careful, because obviously if somebody's working down here during the winter and then they've got to travel all the way up here to go back home, that could be a problem. I'll just have to bear that in mind and, you know, see how it plays out. But overall, I think we've done really well. I'm very pleased that we've got so much food now, because as I say, I can start increasing the population. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If so, do please leave a like, as that will help me out a great deal. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more content, then yeah, do subscribe. Just remember to click the little bell icon, because that way you get new notifications for when new content comes out. And if you've got any comments, any suggestions, please post that in the feedback section below. And until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye!